Look at that beautiful layering, that thick and thin paint consistency, the lovely interplay of rough brushwork with beautiful, seamless form. Let's get rid of all of that crap. So in my last video, I spent a lot of time talking about how to paint without linseed oil, and I don't want to sell linseed oil short. You don't need it at all for alla prima painting, but I love this stuff. It is amazing. Okay, you can do so much great things with this. You can get such smooth, creamy, beautiful transitions between skin tones, colors, and values. And I want to show you how to do it. Go to the paint. So one thing to know before you actually start using linseed oil in your process, you want to wait for your first initial layer, your alla prima layer, to be completely dry. When oil paint dries, you will notice that we do have areas that dry uneven. This area here and this area here are actually the same color, but they dry matte and differently, right? So this area dries matte and this area dries differently. It dries glossy, matte, glossy, matte. It has inconsistent areas. So before you start working on it, when you're working in a layered method, you always want to take just a small amount of oil, usually linseed oil, which is what we're using, and you want to just dip a little bit in there and go right over it. This is how I use it. And what you'll see is putting in that linseed oil right on top of the matte areas is going to revitalize and make those colors pop again. Especially in paintings with deep blacks. Doing this creates a very thin layer, okay? You don't want to overdo it. You just want a very, very thin layer on top of your painting. This creates a lubricant on the surface. That lubricant is going to make your paint flow very smooth and buttery. That's what we want to do whenever we want to utilize this medium to its fullest potential. So the first thing I'm going to do is make sure my painting has a thin, evenly spread out layer of linseed oil on it. Linseed oil likes to solidify into this yellow film. Using too much can put your painting at risk of yellowing. Also, if you use too much, the oil tends to drip down your painting into these really ugly solidified yellow beads. So less is more with this stuff. Once your canvas is oiled out, you're going to begin layering thinner coats of paint on top. This method is known as scumbling. It's when you use broken opaque layers of wet paint on top of a dry paint layer. And it's honestly one of my favorite parts about painting. And while you can do this with other mediums, this is just where oil paint really starts to shine for me because it is so perfect for it. So you always want to start by mixing the same color values and using that to build upon the initial dry layer. If you're a fan of blending and having very little brush strokes show through on your painting, this method is definitely for you. You want to treat your first layer as what it should be, basically foundational. And that scumbling is like reinforcing those ideas that you laid out in your very first layer. This is such a good method if you're detail oriented and want to capture subtle color shifts, especially in areas like fabric and skin tone. Now, I know I talked about using linseed oil on the canvas itself, but the paint that you're using also does not have to be opaque if you don't want it to be. If you mix linseed oil into the paint itself, what you will do is actually dilute the pigment to binder ratio. That's just a fancy word for saying there's more oil and less color. So the pigment that's already in the oil will actually be spread out even more on a much thinner film. So when you put that on top of your painting, what that's going to do, it's going to make things even more subtle. And when you layer that on top of your base layer, it's actually going to optically mix with what's underneath it. And it's going to make it so atmospheric. It's really good for getting atmospheric, hazy effects. You can even see it a little bit when I'm painting right here, where the layers that I'm putting on aren't necessarily as thick as they could be, because I still want that foundational layer, that first alla prima layer, to come shine through. I want it to support everything I'm doing. The goal is not to cover everything up, it is to enhance what's already there. You want to think of each brushstroke as a thin sheet. Picture you're standing in a room looking out of the window, and the sun is shining in your face. Now, take a red sheet, put it between between your face and the sun. All of a sudden, the light becomes red. Now, take a blue sheet, put it in front of that red sheet. The light passes through the blue sheet. The light passes through the red sheet. All of a sudden, the color of light you see is now violet. These brush strokes work in the exact same way, especially with the more oil that you put in, because the more oil you put in, the thinner they are, the more light shines through. Each brushstroke slowly alters the way that the light bounces off the base layer, and it changes slightly each time. It also optically blends with whatever color or value is underneath it, and that allows for some really amazing and subtle transitions that you really can't mix alla prima. Don't think of this method as a jackhammer. It's not for making dramatic changes really quickly. Think of it more as a tiny chisel. Each brushstroke slowly alters and changes the base layer over time. Kind of like how water can carve canyons into stones over millions and millions of years. The buildup is slow, steady, and subtle. That's what this method is for. When you add linseed oil, even though it's considered a fast drying medium, it does slow down the drying time of your paint. Going back to my last video, oil paint has two main components: solvents, which break down the oils in the paint, and mediums, which alter the behavior of the paint, usually with a slower drying time. In the case of linseed oil, it does slow down drying time. More oil means more time to dry. And since this is an oil heavy workflow, it's going to require more than one session to complete things. Eventually the whole painting will get too wet to work on. At a certain point, if you're not careful, you'll just be pushing paint around and it'll start mixing and it'll become muddy and chalky. And that is something a lot of people struggle with when it comes to oil painting, at least when they're learning. It's important not to overwork every layer. You want to let them dry, let them settle, then go back, oil it again, and you can go deeper and darker. This method requires a lot of time and patience. And honestly, sometimes I'll spend months doing just this to some of my bigger paintings. The amount of times you do it, along with the areas you want to do it, is completely up to you. This step is best used by painters who want work to be smooth, less texture, less visible brushstrokes. You can also use it selectively, having one area of your painting being super textured and another area being smooth. This method can give you great results for things like skin, fabric, or atmospheric effects. Anything that can benefit from subtle transitions or translucency. Also, as a quick side note, if it's at all in your power, use better quality paints. It's not necessary, but it's good quality paints that typically dry faster due to their lack of excess oils and fillers. You'll also get better results on a smoother painting surface, such as an oil-primed linen canvas or a smooth gesso board on masonite. If you're using an acrylic primed canvas, make sure to add 2 to 3 extra layers of gesso and sand them each down before applying the next layer. This will make the painting surface much smoother, and oil always reacts better to a smoother surface. The surface will always determine how smooth and detailed you can get, so it's always a good idea to not paint on a rough, super textured surface unless that's what you're going for. But if that's what you're going for, this particular method probably doesn't appeal to you. You can see how each layer has affected the painting throughout the course of this video. As I get closer towards the end, I like to push up the contrast. I always start from the midtones and build my way up to the lightest lights and down to the darkest darks. Working this way really helps to punctuate your focal point to the viewer. If I put the darkest darks and the lightest lights specifically in the skull, your eye is going to naturally be drawn to that skull. You always want to keep that method of thinking in the back of your head, no matter if you're painting alla prima or in a layered approach like this. You want to keep the same methodology and the same thinking no matter what type of art you're doing. You always want to think about shapes, lines, and values. It doesn't matter if you're doing a painting or a drawing or a watercolor, anything. You want to take the same methodology into any type of art that you're doing. A method is just a tool. Remember, it's what you are prepared to do with this knowledge that we all share as artists. That's where the exceptionality lies. There are no secret tricks. There's no super method. There's no substitute for hard work and consistent practice. You are the method. There is not a single person on earth that can paint just like you. The individual practice and interpretation of this knowledge is the real X factor. Remember not to lose sight of that fact. So, just to recap, this is an oil-heavy method that works best on a smooth surface. It's really good for subtle shifts between colors and values. It can give your work a nice blended quality, but it will also require multiple sessions and you must allow time for drying between layers. Do not overwork each layer. You want to start with the midtones and work your way up to the darkest darks and the lightest lights. When oiling out, try not to use too much oil or you're going to get yellow gunky paintings. Adding oil to your paint will make your paint more translucent and thin, but it will also slow down drying time, especially for mixtures with white paint. I believe to get the painting to this level, it took me about 3 sessions. And I have to stress the importance of letting each layer dry individually. It is so important. That is how you get the most out of this method. And here is the final result. You can see the difference between alla prima and the scumbled version. Same painting, different results. Feel free to ask any questions in the comments, and if you like what you saw here, please subscribe.